The late morning sky above Windsor Castle turns black as a beast, a storm brewing with a ferocity that sends shivers down the spine of even the most seasoned protectors. Thomas, a royal guard at 32, stands at his post near the state apartments, his scarlet tunic blazing against the ancient gray stone, his steel-gray eyes scanning the horizon with the precision of a soldier who's seen battle. Rain doesn't scare him. He's trained to stand through anything, a pillar of duty for the crown. But this isn't just rain. Lightning splits the sky, a jagged scar of white, followed by a thunderclap so loud it shakes the cobblestones beneath his polished black boots. The wind screams through the castle grounds, tearing at his bearskin hat, its black fur whipping against his face, and then the heavens unleash their fury, a torrential downpour that transforms the courtyard into a churning, muddy sea in mere minutes. Water surges around Thomas's ankles, then his knees, a relentless flood that roars like a living monster, hungry for chaos. The castle's ancient walls groan under the storm's assault, loose stones tumbling from the upper ramparts, crashing into the floodwaters with violent splashes that echo like gunfire, while the once manicured lawns are torn apart, roots exposed like skeletal hands reaching for the sky. Through the blinding sheets of rain, a scream pierces the storm's howl, a woman's voice, raw with terror. Thomas spots her, a tourist, a young woman in her 20s, her red raincoat a desperate flare in the chaos, clinging to a lamppost near the courtyard's edge. The floodwaters are up to her waist now, a vicious current yanking at her legs, threatening to drag her into the swollen River Thames just beyond the castle walls. Her blonde hair is plastered to her face, her blue eyes wide with panic as she shrieks, "Help! I'm slipping!" The lamppost groans under the water's force, bending dangerously, its metal base creaking as if it's about to snap. Thomas knows she has seconds before it gives way. His heart slams against his ribcage, adrenaline spiking like wildfire. Duty binds him to his post, a sacred oath to the crown that's been drilled into him since his first day as a royal guard, but the woman's life hangs by a thread that's fraying fast. He thinks of his younger sister, who'd once dreamed of visiting this very castle, her laughter echoing in his memory, her face so like this woman's in its youthful hope. He can't let this woman become a memory for someone else. Thomas doesn't hesitate. He slings his rifle over his shoulder, the cold metal biting into his skin through his soaked tunic, and charges into the flood, the icy water hitting him like a freight train. It's up to his waist in an instant, a freezing torrent that drags at his scarlet uniform, weighing him down like a sack of stones. The current is a beast, slamming debris against his legs, broken branches, a splintered bench, a child's plastic toy swirling in the chaos, its bright colors a cruel mockery in the gray storm. A jagged piece of wood slices across his thigh, a sharp sting that draws a hiss from his lips, a thin line of blood mixing with the muddy water, but he pushes forward, his boots slipping on the slick cobblestones. The water roars louder, a wave crashing over him, soaking his bearskin hat and blurring his vision, but Thomas's focus is razor sharp. "Hold on," he bellows, his voice a thunder of its own, cutting through the storm as he battles the flood, each step a war against the raging tide. The castle grounds around him are a battlefield, trees uprooted, their roots clawing at the sky, benches overturned, the floodwaters carving new paths through the manicured lawns, a chaos Windsor hasn't seen in decades. The woman's grip falters, her fingers slipping on the wet metal of the lamppost, her body lurching toward the current. A scream rips from her throat as the lamppost buckles with a sickening creak, tilting toward the river, its base giving way with a wrenching snap. Thomas lunges, his gloved hand snatching her wrist just as she's about to be swept away, her body half submerged in the flood. The water fights him, a monstrous force pulling her from his grasp, but Thomas yanks her back with a roar, his muscles burning as he wraps his arm around her waist. "I've got you," he shouts, his voice hoarse as he lifts her against the current, her body trembling against his, her sobs swallowed by the storm's fury. The water surges again, a sudden wave that nearly topples them both, and Thomas stumbles, his knee slamming into a submerged stone, pain shooting through his leg like a lightning bolt. He grits his teeth, refusing to let go, his steel-gray eyes locked on the woman's terrified face, her blue eyes pleading for survival. Her name, he learns later, is Emily, a student from Canada who'd saved for years to visit Windsor, her dream trip now a nightmare. She'd been taking photos of the castle's turrets, marveling at their history, when the flood hit, separating her from her tour group in the chaos, her phone lost to the water, her hope fading with every second. Now, in Thomas's arms, she feels a flicker of that hope return, his strength a lifeline she clings to with every ounce of her being. But the danger isn't over. A floating wooden crate, heavy with water, hurtles toward them, carried by the current like a battering ram. Thomas spots it at the last second, twisting his body to shield Emily, the crate slamming into his shoulder with a bone-jarring thud that sends a jolt of pain down his arm. He grunts, the impact nearly loosening his grip, but he holds fast, his determination a fire that the flood can't extinguish. The water surges again, this time carrying a tangle of wire that wraps around his ankle, yanking him backward with a vicious tug. He kicks free, the wire slicing into his skin, a trickle of blood staining the water red, but he pushes on, his breath coming in ragged gasps. The raised stone ledge near his post is just ahead, a sanctuary above the floodwaters, but the current fights harder, as if sensing its prey slipping away. Another wave crashes over them, this one carrying a shard of glass that grazes Thomas's forearm, a shallow cut that stings like fire, the blood mixing with the rain on his skin. He ignores it, his focus singular, his strength waning but his resolve unbreakable. With a final surge of power, he lifts Emily onto the stone ledge, her body collapsing onto the dry surface, her sobs echoing as she clutches the edge, safe at last. Thomas pulls himself up beside her, his chest heaving, his shoulder throbbing, his ankle and forearm bleeding, but his duty as a royal guard remains. He stands, resuming his post just steps away, his scarlet tunic dripping, his bearskin hat sagging under the weight of the water, but his posture as rigid as ever, a testament to his unwavering commitment. The rain slows to a drizzle, the storm's fury spent, but the courtyard is a wreckage of water and debris, the flood still lapping at the ledge, its muddy fingers reaching but failing to claim them. Emily, shivering and soaked, looks up at Thomas, her blue eyes brimming with gratitude, her voice trembling as she chokes out, "You saved me. I thought I was gone. I have a little brother back home. He'll get to see me again because of you." Her words pierce Thomas's stoic exterior, a lump forming in his throat as he imagines her brother, waiting across the ocean, unaware of how close he came to losing her. Thomas, his face a mask of discipline, nods once, his steel-gray eyes softening for a fleeting moment, a rare crack in his facade as a royal guard. He's a man who couldn't let a life slip away, a protector in every sense, his body battered but his spirit unbowed. A small group of onlookers, castle staff, a few dignitaries who'd watched from a sheltered balcony, even a groundskeeper who'd braved the storm to secure the gates, stand in stunned silence, their faces a mix of awe and reverence. The groundskeeper, his own coat soaked, whispers to a colleague, "That man's a hero, a true royal guard." Thomas doesn't hear the words, but he feels the weight of their respect, a quiet honor forged in the storm's chaos. The sun breaks through the clouds, casting a golden glow on the battered courtyard, illuminating the scars of the flood, the uprooted trees, the scattered debris, the muddy trails carved into the earth, and the unyielding figure of the guard who stood against it, a beacon of duty and courage in the fading storm, his silhouette etched against the ancient walls like a timeless symbol of resilience.